I refused a promotion because the conditions meant giving up my family, and I suddenly found myself facing one of the hardest choices of my life: money or the people I love the most. I've been working at this company for almost 10 years. I started as someone nobody really noticed, the guy who stayed late, picked up extra work, and tried to prove himself day after day. Over time, I became the one everyone relied on when things got tough. I sacrificed weekends, holidays, and countless nights of sleep just to climb the ladder. Deep down, I always believed it would pay off one day. Then, a few weeks ago, my manager called me into his office. The look on his face told me something big was coming. He smiled and said, "We've decided to promote you. The position comes with double the salary, major benefits, and the chance to travel abroad." For a moment, I was speechless. It felt like the dream I had been chasing for years was finally in front of me. My hard work, my sacrifices, it was all worth it. But then he continued. The new role required constant traveling, long hours that stretched late into the night, and sometimes being away from home for weeks at a time. It wasn't just a new job. It was an entirely new life. When I left his office, the excitement had completely faded. On the way home, I couldn't stop thinking. Could I really give up being there for my kids just to sit in a bigger office? Could money ever replace the moments of laughter at the dinner table or the late-night talks with my wife? That night, while my family was asleep, I sat in the dark living room, staring at nothing. My mind was split into two worlds. In one, I saw myself wearing expensive suits, sitting in high-rise meetings, shaking hands with powerful people. But when I looked around, the image was empty. No family, no warmth, just silence. In the other vision, I saw myself exactly as I am now. A modest paycheck, the same daily routine, but every evening I'd open the door and be greeted by my children's laughter, the smell of home-cooked meals, and the comfort of knowing I was there. Every time I tried talking to my wife about it, she would hold my hand and say softly, "We don't need more money. We need you." Her words hit me harder than anything my boss had said. They filled me with warmth, but also with doubt, because part of me still wanted that recognition, that proof that I wasn't just another average employee. Since that day, I've been caught in this storm of questions. Is success measured by the money you earn or by the memories you make with the people you love? And what if choosing one means losing the other? After that night, the decision started to consume me. Every single day felt like a constant reminder of the choice I had to make. At work, my colleagues kept congratulating me, assuming I had already accepted the promotion. Some even joked about how I'd finally be living the good life. Their words stung because they didn't know the price that came with it. At home, it was different. My kids were too young to understand what was going on, but every time my daughter ran to me when I walked through the door, I felt this invisible weight pressing down on my chest. Would I really trade these small, irreplaceable moments for a bigger paycheck? The hardest part was the quiet conversations with my wife late at night. She never pressured me, but her eyes told me everything. She knew how much I had worked for this moment, and she didn't want to hold me back. Yet at the same time, she was afraid of losing the version of me that was present, that was here. One evening, I remember sitting at the dinner table. My son was telling a silly story about something that happened at school, laughing so hard he couldn't even finish the sentence. Everyone else was laughing too, but I wasn't. I was staring at him thinking, if I take this promotion, how many of these stories will I miss? How many moments will slip through my fingers without me even realizing? The next day at the office, my manager pulled me aside. He reminded me how rare this opportunity was, how people would kill for a chance like this. He even hinted that if I didn't take it, the company might start questioning my commitment. It wasn't just an offer anymore. It was a test. That night, I couldn't eat. I sat outside on the porch, staring at the stars, trying to imagine my life 10 years from now. Would I be proud of choosing the promotion, even if it meant becoming a stranger to my own family? Or would I regret turning it down and forever wonder, what could have been? It felt like no matter what path I chose, I would lose something important. Either I'd lose the time with my family that could never be replaced, or I'd lose the chance to finally prove to myself and everyone else that I was capable of more. And that's when I realized the real battle wasn't between money and family. The real battle was between the person I thought I wanted to be and the person I already was. The days kept passing, and the weight of the decision never left me. At work, the pressure was growing. My manager wanted an answer, and my colleagues kept reminding me of everything I stood to gain. At home, the silence of my wife's eyes reminded me of everything I stood to lose. One evening, I came home later than usual. My kids were already asleep and the house was quiet. I walked into their room just to check on them. I stood there in the dark, watching their peaceful faces, listening to the sound of their breathing. And in that moment, the answer became clear. Money could buy me comfort, luxury, and recognition, but it could never buy me these moments, this love, this life I had built with them. No paycheck, no title, no promotion would ever be worth becoming a stranger in my own home. The next morning, I walked into my manager's office and told him my decision. His expression was a mix of disbelief and disappointment. He couldn't understand why I would turn down such an offer. But I didn't need him to understand, because as I left the office that day, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. For the first time, I wasn't torn between two worlds. I had chosen mine. And when I opened the door to my home that evening, greeted by the sound of laughter and the arms of the people I loved, I knew I had made the right choice. And so, our story comes to an end today. But in the world of Max, fables, every tale carries a lesson and leaves an impact. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you won't miss our upcoming tales. Here, where stories come to life.